Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome to an updated tier list for Heroes of the Storm here at Get Bunked. This list is specifically aimed at solo queuing in Hero League and is based on my experiences playing the game. As always, the purpose of this video is not to tell you how to play the game or what heroes to play as, but simply to share my list of what I consider the strongest heroes in solo queue for each role. Before we jump into the list, let's take a look at the most common and effective team composition in the game's current meta. This is made up of 1 tank, 1 support, 1 melee damage dealer, and 2 ranged damage dealers. One of the 2 ranged can be a hybrid support such as TASSADAR or Tyrande. Now this doesn't mean you can't run double support or double tank, it's just not as common. Now let's start off with the tanks. At the number 1 spot, even after the recent nerfs, we still have Stitches. Even with his gorge damage cut in half and the cooldown of his hook increased, this hero still has the greatest catching potential in the game and a very beefy health bar to go with it. Coming in at number 2, we have ETC, a hero that has grown in popularity not because of buffs, but because of other tanks getting severely nerfed. This cow is one of the strongest split pushers in the game with stage dive and one of the strongest team fighters with mosh pit. Regardless of which one you go with, you will have a great impact on the game. At number 3, we still have MURADIN standing strong. While the loss of Rewind at 16 was a huge hit for him, MURADIN is still one of, if not the tankiest hero in the game. He also has an incredible amount of disruption with his heroic ability, Avatar. Finally, at spot number 4 we have Diablo. A hero that was laughed at before this patch, Diablo has grown in popularity lately, with him being the only hero in the game with resurgence thanks to his passive and the quality of life changes that made his combo so much smoother. Diablo has quickly become a good alternative for tanks. Overall, Stitches and MURADIN kept their places, Arthas and Tyrael completely fell off, and both ETC and Diablo came out of nowhere. Moving on to ranged damage dealers, we still have VALLA at the top of the chain. As you know by now, I consider VALLA the strongest hero in the game as long as you're running the multi-shot build. Since she wasn't changed at all last patch, she's still number 1 on my list. Next, we have NAZEEBO, taking spot number 2. Another hero that wasn't changed at all last patch, NAZEEBO is as strong as he's ever been. A strong laner and an even stronger team fighter, his ravenous spirit combined with good positioning can easily win a game. At number 3, we have TASSADAR. Also not affected by the patch, TASSADAR remains as the strongest hero if you're looking to run a hybrid ranged damage dealer. He's also a very strong laner, practically impossible to kill, can dish out a good amount of damage with Archon, and offers constant support with his shields and healing wards. Coming in at number 4 is Sergeant Hammer. The slight nerfs to her mines were not enough to bring this tank down. Sergeant Hammer is a very powerful sieger starting at level 1, and her damage output during fights is almost impossible to compete with if she has a strong front line. As a result, VALLA stayed strong at spot number 1, Tychus disappeared making NAZEEBO and TASSADAR move up, and Sergeant Hammer climbed to my top 4. Next up are melee damage dealers, starting with ZERATUL at number 1. In the hands of a good player, this hero can be absolutely devastating. As one of the burstiest heroes in the game, especially with the new Rewind talent at level 20, ZERATUL can single-handedly win games if played right. Void Prison also remains as the strongest heroic ability in the game in my opinion. Second, we have ILLIDAN. An extremely mobile and tanky hero, ILLIDAN can very well be considered the best hero in the game if the team composition is right. You pair the Betrayer with a REHGAR or a double support composition and he will go absolutely bananas. He can also be shot down instantly if he doesn't have the support he needs, so be very mindful when you pick him. Coming in at number 3 is KERRIGAN. This hero has dropped off in popularity and strength quite a bit ever since Rewind was taken away from her. She still offers a very potent early game that you can snowball, but you can no longer lock down entire teams with your double combo. The fact that Arthas is no longer relevant was also an indirect nerf to her. Overall, Thrall is no longer relevant thanks to the removal of battle momentum, KERRIGAN lost her throne to ZERATUL, and ILLIDAN has a very strong spot in the current meta. Finally, let's take a look at supports. At number 1 thanks to his playmaking capabilities is UTHER. Being able to sprint into a 5-man Divine Storm combined with his healing power makes UTHER an absolute beast. At number 2 we have REHGAR. This is a hero that wasn't affected by the patch at all, but still climbed in popularity a ton. Thanks to a combination of his ancestral healing and the high damage from Feral Lunge, this Shaman has become one of the strongest supports in the game. In fact, in a team composition without a hybrid range DPS or with an Illidan, REHGAR becomes way more valuable than UTHER. At last, we have Malfurion coming in at number 3. Known as the king of double support comps, Malfurion has been and remains a very solid pick overall. Constant healing and a good source of crowd control makes him a powerful tool for any team. As a result, Brightwing is no longer in the picture thanks to the removal of Rewind and the nerf to his mobility. Malfurion remains a very solid pick, UTHER has taken the number 1 spot, and REHGAR is sitting comfortably at number 2. That's gonna do it for my list of the strongest solo queue heroes. Please keep in mind that this is based on my experience and should in no way dictate exactly how you play the game. Play what you're comfortable with or practice the ones that I mentioned, but don't pick something only because of this list. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to have fun.
You are not prepared!